Well, this is a treat here as we get this all set up. My next guest was part of the phenomenal group known as the Monkees, and he is going to be in town Saturday night over at the Waterfront Convention Center. He is Davy Jones. Davy, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning to you. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, and just getting excited. You're going to be here Saturday at the Waterfront Convention Center in Bettendorf, and I'll tell you what. The folks, it's been interesting. I've got all these women who are calling like crazy to win tickets because they remember Davy Jones.
Well, you know, the Monkees touched a lot of people. We had a TV series for a couple of years, and you know, it went to about 36 countries around the world. So there's plenty of markets out there that we were able to go to. It all started back in the 60s, obviously, September 66, when we went on the air. But actually, prior to that, 6 weeks before, we had a #1 record, Live Straight to Clarksville. So if you want to hear that one again, you want to hear it live, just show up on Saturday night or show up tonight. We'll talk to you. We'll see you.
I'll tell you what, it was quite a run. What was it like getting kind of thrown together? Because that was always the thing. It was like, well, this was going to be a TV series. We were just going to bring these guys together, and then it just became this phenomenon. What was it like getting the job in the first place?
Well, you know, I was on Broadway at the time. I was doing a show called Oliver, played the Artful Dodger. I'd come over from England with the troupe of actors, actresses, and it was, you know, it was just part of that process. You know, I've always had this feeling that, to me, you know, it's no different than the school play. I always felt lucky to be in the school play because it got me out of having to, you know, sort of do certain other things at school that one was, you know, sort of expected to do. So, you know, the Monkees show was so much fun. Mickey, Peter, and Mike, you know, we all sort of collaborated on making it sort of a happy, fun time about a group trying to make it. We never made it on the TV show. We were supposed to, you know, we played at bar mitzvahs and weddings and elevators and such. So it was just a continuance of a career that had started about 6 years before when I was like, you know, 11 years old. So, you know, I mean, I've always viewed it that way. Mickey Dolenz obviously had his own TV series, Circus Boy. Mike Nesmith was playing with a band, the New Christie Minstrels, and Peter Tork was, you know, in the village with his with his banjo and his guitar, and it just worked. We clicked. We enjoyed each other's company, and the show was a success.
The meteoric rise, though, and all the adulation, was it hard to put it all into perspective at that age?
You know, it's still very hard to understand why after 45 years it's all very much current to some people. You know, hence watching us, you know, when we perform. Mickey, Peter, and I have just finished a 46-city tour. We also went to Europe, played the Royal Albert Hall, you know. We went to the Greek Theatre in Los Angeles and, you know, all sold-out performances. So it's very difficult to sort of like, you know, sort of reason with the success. But I always look at it as one performance at a time. I love to entertain. That is what my, you know, my life has been, you know, performing and showing off and improvising, and much the same as my show, or much the same as any other show that you see, you know, whether it be, say, American Idol or whether it be, it doesn't really matter. We all have to go through that audition process, and you know, you now are seeing the American Idol kids all collaborating on one song and singing. You know, I saw the other night, I think it was, they were doing a Halloween song, you know, the Monster Mash or something, I don't know. So they were pretty much thrown together, you know, in a couple of weeks. So you imagine we, after a few months of working together, were very in tune with each other's personalities and each other's style and also each other's, you know, humor. So those things take time. I only hope that the kids that are doing it, you know, so instant fame on American Idol, where they go out and they're touring and they're packing auditoriums, and, you know, I mean, but where does it go from there? It takes a long time to establish a career and a credibility, you know, and only a few make it. It's like a minefield, show business, and hopefully, you know, the Monkees will continue to be rerun. They'll keep playing the songs. Hey, you know, our songs were written by Neil Diamond and Carole King and Sedaka, you know, Nielsen, Tommy Boyce and Bobby Hart, and a lot of notables that, you know, still there, still writing, still successful with songs.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's a part of it that a lot of people don't realize. Of course, I grew up then, so I did, and it was like, there was part of us that, depending on what you like, musical style, it's like, how does this group just get thrown together and do all these hits? And then you start looking at it, okay, number one, they got some talent, and they've got some great songwriters behind them.
Well, that was the thing, and we were very lucky at the time because it was the mid-'60s, and no longer was Mick Jagger or Paul McCartney or a lot of the other bands singing Johnny Be Good and rehashing old material. They were now writing their own music and writing their own tunes, and therefore that opened the door for the Monkees to be able to get more songs quicker and more often than normal. All those songwriters, not all of them, but a lot of them, Neil Diamond, Carole King, Sedaka, they all showed up for work in the morning at the Brill Building in New York City and sat at a piano or sat in a room with a guitar, and they were churning out tunes for Columbia Pictures, Screen Gems Television, and other networks at the time, movies and different stuff, so that they could place their songs in all those, projects that different companies had going. Well, as soon as the guys that were making hit records started writing their own stuff, we got all the good stuff from, I'm a Believer, Neil Diamond, Little Bit Me, Neil Diamond, Carole King, Sedaka, They all were very, very prolific and very, very strong writers. And fortunately, and no, don't overlook Mike Nesmith. Mike Nesmith was a great songwriter and still is, and has had hits solo on his own and written for other people. Mickey Dolenz, great little songwriter too. And you just have to think, you got to be in the right place at the right time, and it's a lot to do with luck in the business. And I can honestly say, when they start, so Jimi Hendrix was the opening act for the Monkees back in the '60s.
That still is one of the.
We ran across a lot of people during those times that are not around anymore. But we give great homage to people like Hendrix and Janis Joplin and all the different sort of acts that, are not with us anymore. But, it's a long haul. So I like to see Gary Puckett on the road. I like to see Peter Noone on the road, David Cassidy, the guys from the association. I hook up with Flo and Eddie from the Turtles all the time. And we're all still doing it, We're all still making music and playing, hit records, and I don't think a lot of kids have got that underneath their belt yet, and I'm sure that once they get out there and they've had a few hits, they realize this is not a game, this is a profession.
Yeah.
And you have to be very, very careful where you tread and who you tread on, because otherwise, you're just pushed aside, With the record companies happening the way they are, Arista has just been sold to RCA, and a few other major labels have been bought by RCA. With the internet connection. Look at little Justin Bieber, he stole my haircut. I'm still mad at him.
I don't blame you. Well, Davy, it's been great to talk to you. What people expect to hear Saturday night?
Well, obviously they'll get I'm a Believer, Daydream Believer, Clarksville, Little Bit Me, Pleasant Valley Sunday, Daydream Believer, I Want to Be Free. We play a little swing music, got a great band, 6-piece band. We got a saxophone, trumpet, and so we're able to do a lot of crossover tunes. We do a little country once in a while. You don't have to be a country boy to sing a country song.
Yeah.
With the music the way it is, which I think Mike Nesmith was quite responsible for with his style of songwriting back in the '60s, early '70s. Country has changed completely. It's not the same. It's not the same music that we saw. Hank Williams playing, or George Jones, or Tammy Wynette. So, the music market is wide open these days, and I'm looking forward to performing as I always do, and looking forward to getting some people in. Bettendorf, Iowa, I understand it's a good venue, and we look forward to, to entertaining. So, be there or be square.
All right. Hey, it's been great to talk to you. Thanks so much for your time, and look forward to seeing you Saturday night.
Okay, have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Fun stuff. Davy Jones, that's a treat. And I was talking to some members from the Purple Flower Gang. I think it's the fan club. I know they're going to be there. They said they're going to be there with I don't know, purple flowers on. 7:46. Back into this.